Something that came up, and Moses Kuria said this, and your name was mentioned, so let's bring up what it mentioned.
Where was that?
Hold on 1 second. Just listen to what Mrs. Kuria had to say.
Mheshimiwa Anne Waiguru, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, Mheshimiwa Ishungwa, Mheshimiwa Gavana Muthomi Njuki, Mheshimiwa Senator Linturi, Mheshimiwa Wamatangi, Mheshimiwa Wamaua, Mheshimiwa Alice Wahome, Mheshimiwa Faith Getau. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tunashidia Uhuru kura, na sisi ndio tulikuwa tunamwibia kura. Akili yote iliweka Uhuru kwa kiti iko hapa. Ila iko Azimio ni mwili peke yake.
Matangi, were you part of a team that rigged that?
Okay, now why have you taken away the discussion from the economic one to this one? Because I wanted to deal with the economic one, then we can get to this one.
Let's deal with this one.
Because you know the points there that were raised, and especially by Atandi, I'll deal with it on the issue of you know, Trevor, we can't play games with the economy of this country. You cannot play games with the economy of this country. That you can't. You must be consistent. Say what should be said and not what should be heard. Let people know what they need, not what they want at that particular time. What we want is a good country. We want a system that says that we have put in individuals who understand that we want to grow the economy, expand the tax base, increase collections of money, and we have to advise on what is the best way to do that. It doesn't matter which government is in place. Kenyans are going to be the same. Your mother will be your mother. Your sister will be your sister tomorrow, no matter who is in power. And what we are saying is that let us have a known policy, one that we say that once you are in this office, this is what you do. And my issue is, by the way, is only with KRA, and it is advisory. That's what I've said. You know, the other day they reported that they collected and met the targets. That's a good thing if they've started meeting the targets. But what they need to know more is that they need to increase that collection. The best way to do that, and this does not change because of where I am, is let us befriend, have a robust, good, useful engagement with taxpayers so that they can encourage businesses to grow. I think that's my position on this one of rigging and stealing votes. No, I wasn't there in stealing votes. I don't think that we stole any votes, and we didn't rig even one election. Even one, we didn't rig. And I think Moses Kuria could have been speaking in other context, you know, for that particular matter. But for the record, let me say that we have not and we didn't rig any election. The votes that I have, that I got in the year 2013, in the year 2017, if you go to the IEBC records and demand that the ballot boxes be opened, if they are still there, for the elections that we held, my vote would still count for what I got. And so I believe that, you know, that's a political speak, you know, for that matter, which happens most of the time in political rallies. But we definitely didn't rig any election. Okay. And we are not going to rig any.
All right. I'd like to hear you. We only have 5 minutes to wind up on this, Atandi.
Chair, there's something which Cherargei has talked about, which I need to clarify. Trevor, if there's anything we need to thank DCIO and these agencies for, is the fact that they've been vigilant and they've been able to tame rogue politicians. This country, if Ruto has created a group of rogue politicians, if they are not dipping their fingers into the public coffers, they are inciting. You know, they are all over the place, you know, making statements that could cause, you know, interfere with peace and tranquility. And DCIO has been very, very vigilant, and they've been able to bring politicians into account. Like this issue of Linturi, I think it was in order for DCIO to bring him to book. Even if the courts found him innocent, that is the work of the courts. So I think we should actually thank these institutions for what they are doing. Yeah. And they have been able to help the country actually. If there's anything this country needs, Trevor, is peace and tranquility. Even before we get to this economic expansion and etc. Yeah. You can expand this economy to whatever levels, but if there's no tranquility, there's no peace, you are actually doing nothing. And there are many examples have shown us that if you don't have peace, you cannot grow your economy. That is one. Two, what I have to accept is that the cost of living in this country is very high, and this is because we have been able to create many taxes, and taxes are also very high. Yeah, their taxes have gone up. I think this is what really a new government needs to address. In order to cut the cost of living, to make this country easier to do business, for Kenyans to enjoy this country, we need to see how we can tame taxes. Unfortunately, we cannot tame taxes because they are tied to IMF conditionalities. So I think a new government needs to be a government that's going to think. And that's why when I see some of these statements from our opponents who are looking to lead this country, then I just begin to wonder if really they get to that position, they will be able to reorganize this country and put it in the path for development. And lastly, Trevor, the headline of The Nation has a very interesting story, which unfortunately we have not been able to discuss. And Trevor, what I want to say is that Nation has done a very big blunder by projecting some of these regions as battlegrounds. There's no way, Trevor, Kisii, Nyamira can be battleground. These are ODM strongholds. Okay. Kisii, Nyamira these are ODM stronghold. Kajiado is ODM stronghold. Meru is cannot be UDA. Meru is ODM. Meru is Raila. Meru is Baba.
Okay.
So I wanted to say, Trevor, that without having this issue go, this projections by Nation is wrong. Baba is currently polling at about 10 million voters because William Ruto has never been a presidential candidate. He cannot have a stronghold. Okay. He has not been on the ballot.
I'd like to hear your views on the Kuria rigging claims, because we stay away from political opinion polls because we are not the ones who conducted them. Therefore, we cannot vouch for the credibility. Okay. That's why I stay away from that.
I think I want to thank Kuria for being honest. Kuria made those allegations because they thought that those allegations would strengthen the Ruto's bid to become the president of Kenya in August. But fortunately, those statements have given us what we always believe, that elections in Kenya have not been free and fair, and that there are many leaders who have been created through these fake elections, leaders who do not care about the country. If you look at the leaders we have right now, Trevor, there are many leaders who don't even care about the country. Even the statements they make, they talk like, the country is their own bedroom, So these are the kind of leaders who come about because of, unfair, dishonest elections. Okay. And I want to say Kuria is one of the people who are leaders because of dishonest elections. So Kuria is right, and I think it is high time that IBC and Kenya and Kenyans and leaders should ensure that the future elections are free and credible, free, fair, and credible, so that we are able to get leaders that Kenyans deserve. Okay. Kenyans are suffering because they have leaders they don't deserve.
Okay. Gerard Gay, let me hear your views on the rigging claims and then come to Mutua as we wind up on this.
One thing, I think Kuria himself has clarified that he meant to Limbia Uhuru Kenyatta with his famous guy. The name is I'm forgetting his name. He has clarified that to Limbia Uhuru Kenyatta Shinde Kura. And I think for us to understand, he said he mispronounced himself. So I think those are just, he mispronounced those issues. But of course, I have seen the chairman of IEBC intends to summon him to appear before the IEBC. Let IEBC investigate those claims, and therefore, I think this country, because I'm an elected leader of the 10, and we participated in 2017 general election. I was part of the process of the people who ensured, and we were also agents in our county. I want to confirm to you, in Nandi, there was never any single vote that was stolen in favor of President Uhuru Kenyatta or William Ruto, I believe, then in 2017. So I think, as Moses Kuria, I can take his word that he meant to Limbia instead of Kuibia. Then let's allow the IPC to investigate, to invite him to share his thoughts. Then from there we can make a conclusion. But my only request, and this is important to the country, is that let us have free, fair, transparent, and verifiable general election. And what is important is for the people who lose an election should accept it.
Okay. Mutua, as we wind up.
Let me just start by saying, and I'll just give my closing remarks also. This issue of rigging elections is neither here nor there. I think people are trying to say that, I think what most Kuria say that the riggers are on this side, so we will rig Ruto in. I think that's the message that I got, that we are the riggers, we rigged, so we can also rig Ruto in. So they already think about rigging. Even though DP Ruto was in the UK lamenting about rigging. And it's all about fair. You know, I ran polls and I believe in science. That's why when he says he ran a poll, I believe it's important. When I ran a poll last time, I knew I was winning, regardless of the NASA wave. Because the poll showed I was winning. I saw the poll and I remember talking to President Kenyatta. He called me and asked me, how yako inasema namna gani? And if you saw my poll, the result of my poll, what I got, what Uhuru Kenyatta got, what Charity Ngilu got, what Sonko got, what Joho got, all those people that we did a national poll, you'd think it was a preamble for rigging because they were basically identical, maybe minus or plus 1%. You know, because science doesn't lie. And the people wanasikia ground inasema, it's not about the ground. Let's use science, and science doesn't lie. And yes, it gets sometimes wrong or not. So, hii mambo ya rigging na nini is people, you lose an election, you accept you've lost, you move on. Finally, is to say on the issues of taxes is that, not finally, but in the US they say only two things are sure, death and taxes. You pay your taxes. Hata kwa Biblia tunaongea kuhusu Zakayo, who was a taxpayer. Nobody likes the taxpayer everywhere in the world. But let's pay our taxes. But I do agree, let's also not uproot the tree when we're just going for the fruits.
Okay.
You know, let's the tree grow. That's why I'm glad that people are coming in and saying, let's negotiate. That's why I'm negotiating. I've negotiated with KRA. Keroche is negotiating. We all negotiate with KRA. And we move on. It's part of life.
Okay.
We've lost two people that I think of importance. We've lost Vic Preston Jr. Some of us who grew up loving Safari Rally. Vic Preston Jr., you know, the petrol station near university that used to cool a tear gas all the time during the days of agitation. And when I grew up, it's a big loss. My condolences to his family and to all of us. And it comes at a time when I've been in conversations with one Carl Tundo. You know Carl Tundo? Flash Tundo, very, very good rally driver. We've met and I've built a track in Machakos which will eventually be used for Formula One. Want to start using it for rally cross. We don't have rally cross in this country. Motocross, we bring cars and they compete. So we'll have a very big event coming up in the next few months to bring rallying to this country, where people can enjoy rallying more than just the Safari Rally, which will now bring in better competition, and we got Formula One and others who are coming. And it's a lot of money. This is basic tourism. I want to grow the economy of Kenya and the people of Machakos. So with Carl Flash Tundo, we'll be inviting people to come in and sit down, corporate sponsors, and see what we can do. We've got a very good track that we're expanding and everything. And also we've lost Mzee Jackson Kibor, who's died in his late 80s, and he kept us entertained, he kept us solid as men, and so we say condolences to his family. He's got over 20 children and his former wives and his current wife, and we say we've lost these icons that have been in the media, and as such is life. You know, you're born and you die. What matters is what you do in between. That is why, as Maendeleo Chap we say, this life is not a rehearsal. You know, stick with people who stick with you.
All right, let's bring up the feedback and close on this conversation. There's quite a lot of them coming through. Let's read them up really quick. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya is the hashtag Daybreak. Let's see what you're saying online as we wind up on this. So Loom Justice says DP William Ruto cannot resign from office. He's aware of the privileges his position comes along with. It's unfortunate that the two senior most leaders are at war. They rolled their sleeves up long ago. Okay? Chalo Wood Rosie says weaponization of state institutions is not there. Politicians are just playing politics with the state institutions. Anyone who has done a crime should just face the law and stop politicizing the process. Okay. Umutiti Frederick says, Dr. Alfred Mutua, from your statement, do you represent ideologies or the people? Do ideologies vote for you? I applaud Gwamyotangi for choosing people over individual ideas. A government should be of the people, by the people, for the people. Angela Nazaro says, Senator Wamatangi and Cherargei, when did DP realize that important state organs are under captivity by the executive board he's a member of? what does the law say about DP who officially comes to an opposition outfit, all right? That has been answered already. Agumba Steve says the move by most of the Kiambu gubernatorial aspirants to Kenya Kwanza is going to make it easy for Azimio aspirants to triumph as they solve their issues. Meanwhile, if they were sure of emerging winners in UDA, let them resign from Jubilee led by the DP, okay? Sawe says, Kimani Wamatangi, if you think UDA is popular than Jubilee, why are you still holding positions under the Jubilee? What happened to the political party's law? Are you doing it for political survival? Resign and we see a patriot in you. Atanas Mavuti says, if Honorable Tandi is claiming Wamatangi made a suicidal move, ask him whether he can run on a UDA ticket in a Lego. It's all about political survival for every politician based on what the ground is saying. So in my opinion, Wamatangi made the right decision. Okay. Okelo Mwalimu says 2022 elections will be a contest between personalities, not parties. Whoever banks all his or her hopes on a political party to win a seat will be in for a rude shock. Lastly, on Wamatangi's move to UDA is more beneficial to the DP than Wamatangi himself. Okay. Kiprona Abraham says Gerard Gay should have been in studio. We wanted a public welcome in the course of the show. Yellow t-shirt and cape must be given to him publicly. Joel Chapkuan says everything rises and falls on leadership. The day we had the opposition joining government is the day the country got confused. The president should have given a better direction. All right. That's where we leave it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. State of the Nation. We ran out of time. We ran out of time with Matangi. This happens next time on Thursday. All right. Right now it's time for cooking tips. Bye for now.